Good morning once again. My name is Shola Ajani, School of Consulting. This is the 23rd cohort since 2019, and this is the second module, module 2. We started out last week by looking at Introduction to Consulting. What is consulting all about? Who is a consultant? And then what are the skills that you need to become a successful consultant? That's what we looked at last week. In the event that you missed last week, please, you need to catch up with the video. So last week basically was a background. We're laying the background for the rest of the 4 modules or 4 weeks of training. So today is module 2, and we're looking at consulting service development. Consulting service development. The way we have structured the training is that we're telling a story. So module 1 looks at what is consulting. That's generally introducing consulting. And today, module 2, we start by looking at how do we design a consulting business? How do we design a consulting business? Dr. Lydia, please switch off your mic. How do we design a consulting business? That's what we're looking at today. And then next week, or the next time we meet, having had an understanding of how to design or how to structure your consulting business, there are some key things that is essential for you to structure your consulting business. Now, having done that this week, then we now look at how do we market? How do we start getting consulting business? So today's module looks at how do we structure our consulting business. Please, can you switch off your mic, please? Dr. Sanya, your mic is distracting us. Please switch off your mic from your hand. Dr. Sanya, okay, done that. So yeah, we're looking at how do we design our consulting business. That's what we want to look at today. What are the steps to designing our consulting business? And then next week, we start looking at how do we market? How do we sell? How do we let people know about the consulting solutions or consulting products we have put together? How do we now get assignments? How do we get consulting assignments? And the third leg, the fourth leg, if you like, is having gotten the consulting assignments, how do we deliver consulting assignment? What are the processes to ensure that we deliver the consulting assignment successfully? So module 1 is introduction. Module 2 today we're looking at is how do we structure our consulting business? Module 3 what we're looking at next is how do we sell consulting business? How do we sell consulting solution? And then module 4 is how do we deliver the promise, the consulting service. So say, for instance, we have advertised and they are giving us a consulting assignment. How do we deliver? And then the last module, which is always a bonus, is how do we grow our consulting business? Having started, how do we grow? Or how can we grow our consulting business? So that's the structure of the entire training. So for today, we're going to be looking at how do we put together a consulting business, okay? So there are essentially 9 things we're looking at. But it starts by identifying your personal expertise. And so what we're looking at today is consulting business model. Consulting business model. Designing your consulting business model. Before I go into that, there are 9 things or 9 steps generally before we start delivering consulting assignments that I want you to bear in mind. And these 9 things will form the basis of the next 3 modules. So the next 3 modules that we are teaching you is premised on these 9 things I just want to run through now. And the first thing is you design your consulting business model. So as a consultant, you must have your own business model. how you sell, who you sell to. Everybody has a unique consulting business model because your services are different. So the first thing to do really is to identify your expertise. What am I good at? Which area or what areas am I good at? Where am I skilled? Are my skill sets? Where can it be relevant? So you're asking that question. You do a checklist. I mean, and I'll say practically write down all your skill sets. Write it down. All your skill sets that you think is based, just write it down on your knowledge, your skills, your experiences. Write it down. And then secondly, if you now want to go into consulting, you need to now research the market. Researching the market is now asking the question, who would need my expertise? What problems can my expertise solve? Yeah. So identify your expertise. Second question is, this expertise that I have advertised, what problems can it solve? And you have to be honest with yourself. If your expertise cannot solve any problem, then maybe you need to look deeper, or there's no market. Or the market is saturated. And which is the next thing. So you could have expertise, look at the market and realize that the market, there's a demand for your service, or the market is saturated. Then the third thing you need to do, whether the market is saturated or the market is large, is empty, is who would need my services? Who would need my services? Who would need my solutions? Who would need my help? Where are they? Okay? Where are they? Who needs my services? Who needs my expertise? And beyond identifying them, you must also define where they are, because that will help you in your advertising later on. And then number 4, you understand what you can offer, you understand the demand, you understand those that need it, then you start developing the product or solutions that you can offer them. You don't even think about products or solution first. Most people say, I'm going to go into consulting, I'm going to do ABC. Fine, but follow these steps. Start with your expertise. Look at that expertise and then go to the market. Who needs my expertise? Where are they? Who needs it? Understand the market and the demand. Understanding the market and demand does a lot of things. Number 1, there are people out there who can buy my services. Then number 2, how big is the market? There are 2 things here. There are people that can buy my services, but then is it a large enough size? These are where your research would help you. Let's find out, are there people that will need or can buy, that will need my service? And then how large is this sample? In this pool of people? Is it large enough to sustain a business? Understand the market. Who are the players in the market? Are there gaps in the market? This is what your research would help you to validate. So having defined your target audience, those are the people that you want to sell to. In fact, define your target audience maybe within a large market. You now realize that, look, you can't serve all the markets. It may be that there's an existing market, but there's a tiny percentage that the existing market or existing providers are not looking after. That may be your target audience. So you need to do your research based on your expertise, do your research, and then define who you are selling to. Having defined them, that is when you begin to develop products, because your product is targeted at your defined target audience in the market. And then number 5, why should they buy from you? This is very, very important. You're trying to sell to them, but at the same time, you need to articulate why they should buy from you. And that's the value proposition. Why are you different? Why should they buy from you? What problems are you solving? What is unique about your solution? Yeah, all of this needs to be done before you go to the market. Again, many people go to the market without doing all of this. And I thank you for coming for this program. This is to prepare you before you go to the market. And then number 6, you put together a business plan. How many people, your business plan is the function of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the 5 things above. So you put together your business plan, identify, you now know who you are selling to, you know where they are. So how would you sell to them? How many units would you sell to them? How many units of your product are you able to sell to your target audience? At what price are you able to sell to them? What's the problem you are solving? And on this, you can now come up with your financial projections. There are 200 people. Let me give you an example. The kind of service we're offering now, I'm trying to move beyond just delivering consulting training. I want to move into consulting business development, helping people, not just to train them, but to help them to start their consulting business. That's where I want to really move into. And we really started that this year. The last 1 year, well, in the last 5 years, we've been doing it, but not in a structured way. But going forward now, we really want to do it in a structured way. After your training, you go for your mentoring, and then we help you set up your consulting business. 12 months. We believe within that 12 months, we'll get good results. Like I said, we've been doing it informally for those that asked for it. We were strictly based on those that were asking, oh, help me set up my consulting business, put a program together. But now we have structured it as the only business we're offering. Now, because the cost is high, I expect the numbers to be low of those who would aim for consulting business service. But then when I look at my figures, I say, look, you know what? So for instance, if I have 25 people in a year, I am helping them to set up their consulting business. And I look at the figures. Okay, 25 by $500. Am I okay with that? Or by $1,000? Am I okay with that? 25 people, 35 people by $1,000. That's $35,000 in a year. That is my business plan. And you're going to have something, a financial projection like that. This is the product you have developed. In fact, you have developed what you are selling. You have identified those who will buy it. How many? Then you develop a product. And then this product, how many people must you sell it to break even? Or you want to earn $50,000. These products that you have put together cost $1,000. So if you want to earn $50,000, your $50,000 covers all your costs and your profit and delivery. Then you are targeting 50 people. You're targeting 50 people. That's your business plan. So you don't need to look for 1,000 people. You don't need to look for, no. Just target 200 people out of 300 people, and then you aim to get your 50 people. That is how to have a business plan. And that's the 50 people that you're targeting for the rest of the year. But you base all of this on what is the market? What do they need? What product can I put together? How much will the market pay for this service? This all comes into your business plan. And so once you've done that, you go into brand building. Number 7, brand building. Your marketing comes after that. But you build your brand. Many people go into business without building the brand. So one of the key things we look at is, how do we build a brand? Before we market, before we sell, before we start saying we're a consultant, how do you build and market your brand? And then finally, how do you deliver consulting services? So in the next 2 modules, this is the structure we're looking at, consulting service development, okay? So there are 9 steps. Identify your expertise. What am I good at? Understand your market. Is there a market for the solution? Is there a market for my competency? Is there a market for my skill? Because you can have skills, but there's no market for it. Or you can have skills, but then the market is not big enough. Now, or the market is crowded, is oversaturated. There are many players in the market. In any of these scenarios, you can define your target audience, and we'll show you how. It can be narrow. Like I said, if I have 25, 50 people that I'm coaching throughout the year, I am fine. I am fine. I am absolutely happy. My minimum is 25. If I have many beyond 25, I'm getting 30, I'm getting 50. Now, in this class alone, we have 6. We've trained 20 in the first class. So 20 plus 6, we do have more in this class, but not everybody has turned up. But let's just assume that the 6 that we have now is the 6 that we're going to have throughout for this class. That's already 26. I have met my targets halfway, not even halfway in the year. That's how to plan your business and let it be stress-free. That's how to plan your business. So have a target. And these are the things we'll sit down with you to do. We'll sit down with you to define what is my competency. Let's look at your skills. We'll look at your market, help you define your market, and then much more, help you develop a product that you can sell to this market. It's so systemic. I'm so excited. So define your target audience. What do you sell to them? Why would they buy from you? That's your value proposition. Okay, so you develop products. Ask yourself, why would they buy this product and how do you sell it? How do you want to be known? How do you sell your product? And then delivering on the promise. So the same, I'm just expanding on all of these 9 steps. Okay, so define your area of expertise based on your knowledge, skills, and experience as the first step. Number 2, understand the market demand. Research the market to understand the demand for consulting service in your chosen area. Very critical. There's no point in saying I want to consult in this area and you've not done your research. Your research will tell you how big the market is. If I want to give good things about research, it will tell you, is this market is there growth potential? Is it a growing market? Is it a shrinking market? If it's a shrinking market, you've got to be careful. Shrinking market, maybe there are just too many players. Okay? So that's very good. Then number 3, identify your target clients within the market. Now, don't try and sell to everybody. No, don't try and sell to everybody in your market. It can just be a small area. Again, we will show you how to identify your target clients in your markets. Then, having identified your target audience, then develop products based on your expertise and the needs, customer pain. 2 things, your expertise and the needs. Don't develop products because you feel, hey, they will sell. Develop products based on the needs of those you are trying to sell to. Don't develop products because you think you feel good. Develop products based on needs of the market, no, of your target, who you are trying to sell to. Yeah. And then number 5, why must they buy from you? This is your value proposition. Why must they buy from you? Why not someone else? What is special about your business? What is special about your product? Why must they buy from you? Why you? You must answer that question. And that's your value proposition. Again, we'll look at that. And then you now create a business plan. Having done all of this, how do I get to who is my target market? We defined it. How many products am I selling? How much am I selling it? How would I sell it? How many people am I targeting? That's your business plan. That's for you. It's a guide for you to run your business on a day-to-day basis. And then you start brand building, your brand identity. How do you want people to see and to know you? That's your brand building. It starts from your name. When you hear the School of Consulting, that's what comes to mind. School of Consulting. That's part of the brand building process. When you hear School of Consulting, you know what we do straight away. So your naming convention or your name is very, very critical. How do you name? How do you be your brand? How do you be your brand identity? Your brand identity is your reputation. Your brand identity is when people see your name or they see your logo, immediately they think about you. Your brand identity is how you have differentiated yourself. Your brand identity is how you have positioned yourself in the mind of people that will buy from you. Positioning is, I hear your name and I think of a particular service. I hear your brand name and I think of a particular service. There's no better positioning than that. And that's what we tried by saying School of Consulting. What comes to mind? You don't need to know about us. what comes to mind? A school where consulting is taught. A school where they teach you how to be a consultant or how to be a consultant. That is why we have called the School of Consulting. That is our brand identity. That is what we call positioning. We have positioned it in people's mind that when they hear School of Consulting, what comes to their mind is, oh, this is the school where they teach you how to become a consultant. It's deliberate. It is intentional. And then you now start marketing. Now start selling your products. Yeah. So there's so many things you need to do before you start selling. Many people simply come up, I want to be a consultant, no research, don't really understand their target audience, no business plan, no value proposition, no product. Just okay. When we start consulting, people will start to come. And then you wonder why you are struggling. Why? Because you have not identified who you are selling to. You have not identified where they are. In fact, you need to identify the media they consume. You need to identify where they are. You need to know where to advertise. So if we are saying we're doing the School of Consulting, we need to know where we advertise. What age category are we targeting? If we say we want to do School of Consulting, do I do an advert, a generic advert for everybody? Or I need to look at doing an advert to target a specific age group. When I do these adverts, I don't do adverts for people in their 30s or maybe 38, but I always target people between 40 and 48. Between 40, at times we even target them be just over 50, 52, 53. You will see me targeting somebody who is 65. They're already retired. You understand? And if I'm looking at targeting people who want to go into consulting after retirement, then I do adverts for people from 50, 55 to 65. You know, so your advertising must be to achieve a particular objective and the audience. So your research would have given you all of that. Market your services, you get the consulting services, and then you deliver the solution. Okay. Any questions, please? Let's take some questions before I go ahead. Let's take some questions. Questions, please. Let's chat a bit. Questions? Questions, please. Comments, clarification. Leslie, Pastor Rudolph, Dr. Lydia, Maureen, Abubakar, questions? Any question? Any question, please?
No question from me, Doctor.
Okay, all right. Dr. Saina, Maureen, any question? Maureen is good. All right. Okay, yes. Pastor Smith. Yes, go ahead, Pastor Smith. Go ahead, sir. Pastor Smith, you raised up your hands. Please go ahead. Pastor Smith, we can't hear you. Please go ahead. Okay, you have a question, but your network is active. Maybe you want to type the question. Pastor Smith, if type the question, please. Please type the question. We'll give you a minute. Pastor Smith, please type your question. We'll give you a minute, sir. Okay, Pastor Smith. Okay, I guess your question is coming through. We'll come back to that. All right, let's continue now. So we want to look at consulting business model. And a very good tool for this is what we call the balance, the business model canvas. The business model canvas. The business model canvas is a template that you can use to define your consulting business model. Very, very good tool. An extremely useful tool to define. Yeah, we can't hear you. And Pastor Smith, I've asked, please type question here. So if you'd like to type your question, Pastor Smith, we will deal with it. Now, we're talking about how to design a business model. A business model is basically looking at identifying what you are selling, identifying who you are selling it to. Just like you said, the very first thing you want to be doing before you start your consulting is identifying your expertise, understand your market, define your target audience. And one good tool is what we call a business canvas model. The business model canvas model describes how your company creates and delivers value. How do you want to create and deliver value as a consultant? And these are 9 questions, 9 areas that can be very useful. In no particular order is this business canvas. But if you ask me, I always like to start with value proposition. I start with value proposition. I like to start with value proposition. And there are a few questions there. What value do we deliver to customers? Which problems are we solving? What products are we creating? If I may add to that, say what expertise, what unique expertise do I have? Because you're trying to craft your value proposition as a consultant or a consultancy. So your value proposition for me is the first thing, because if we go back to this, identify your expertise. What value? Identifying your expertise is trying to define the value you can offer someone. And that's why I will start with value proposition. What problems can I solve? What skills do I have? What expertise am I bringing to the market? So you are answering those questions. You're asking and answering those questions, not even thinking of where you want to sell to. Ask yourself, what skills do I have? What are my expertise? Write it down. What am I very good at? Write it down. And then having done that, that is when we now look at the markets. For whom are you creating this value? You have identified the value, your expertise, what you can offer. So the second question is, who would need this value? Who would need this value? Who would need my expertise? Who would need my solutions? Who would need my help? That's your customer. So within your customer, you're even looking at it that, and we call it customer segments. Why? Because you can have a large market, but not everybody in that market needs your service. Say, for instance, you're in the banking system. You are into agri banking, and you want to develop a product for agri banking. Your products may not be really necessary for somebody in retail banking. Your product is for those who are in agri banking or in agriculture. So that means you are segmenting the market. That's one key thing you must be able to do. There's a large pool of people. For instance, when we say we are doing consulting training, we have segmented training. I am not doing leadership training. I am not doing management training. I am not doing skills training. I am doing consulting training. That is, I have segmented these training markets. You need to segment your market. And segmenting your market is a function of who you are trying to sell to. Is a function of who will buy from you what you're offering. And what you're offering is a function of your skills and expertise. So your skills and expertise have been defined. Next thing is, who needs my skills and expertise? And it doesn't have to be a whole market. And in segmenting or separating or creating new markets is called customer segmentation or market segmentation, as the case may be. You looked at that market, so you know what? I don't have to sell to everybody, but there might be a segment in that market that needs my expertise. So that's your number 2. And then you come to number 3. How do I intend to serve my market? How do I intend to relate with my market? You start building a relationship. How do I intend to build my relationship? So for me, I will start with value proposition, go to customer segments, and then number 3, I'll define how I want to relate, how I want to reach, how I want to sell to my market. So 1, customer value proposition, 2, customer segmenting, 3, customer relationships. Now, having done 1 to 3, you may now look at, right, okay, these are my customers. These customers that I have defined, how do I reach them? How do I reach them? Do I sell online? Do I set up physical offices? How do I reach them? How do I sell to them? What channels do I use to sell to them? When we set up the School of Consulting and we wanted to go Africa-wide, we were looking at, okay, do we have a partnership model whereby there's somebody in the country who buys the license to sell our courses in their country? Or do we have branch model whereby we are physically on the ground in each country? So that's a channel. Or do we do virtual? Or do we do remote? Or do we do the 2? That's a channel. So having defined your customer, you've got to define how would you reach them. How to reach your customer is also a function of the kind of media they consume. How do you reach them in the sense of how do you advertise to them? And how do you deliver services to them? You've got to define that. So value proposition first, customer segmenting second, customer relationship 3, channels, how to reach them, number 4. Having done those 4, then I will move to key partners, activities, and resources. Now, having done that 4, I want to be asking myself, this is my value proposition to these my customers that I'm going to be offering through this channel. What are the key activities, the business processes of reaching my clients? What are the processes of reaching my clients? What are the key business activities of reaching my clients? What are they? So you define your key, what needs to be done to deliver on your value proposition. This is, you're looking at your business processes, okay? You're looking at your business processes. So you define your business processes. How you deliver service A to B. So all of this, you are designing your business. All of this. And then you now look at the key activities. So in module 3, when we start saying how to market and how to deliver services, we're looking at activities to deliver your value proposition. And then beyond that, having answered the key activities that you do, step-by-step business processes, you now ask yourself, what are the key resources you need? What are the key resources? Your value proposition. What are the things you must have to deliver on these solutions to your clients? The truth of the matter is, you are the best person to answer these questions. I can help you in asking you, have you considered this? Have you considered that? And that's where mentoring comes in. So the mentoring that we offer would help you in your defining your value proposition, will help you in the segmenting your market. We will do this together, one-to-one. I mean, right now we're speaking generally, but by the time we sit down together, we are trying to answer all of these questions. What are the key resources? And then number 7, who are the suppliers, the value chain, the people I need, other businesses that I need to be able to deliver my value proposition. I do a lot of virtual training now. And one of the key partner I need, a key resource I need is internet connectivity. I was really worried this morning because along the West African coast, internet has been disrupted. So I was really worried. So I got to have plan A, plan B. So I make sure that I can still deliver my services. So what are the resources? Who are the partners that I need to work with to deliver my resources? These are the questions every one of us needs to ask. So having done all that 7, I would always leave number 8 as cost structure. So all of these activities above, how much is it going to cost me? What are the most important costs in this business model? Which key resources or cost activities are most? In fact, you list everything: resources, cost activities. How much are all of this going to cost? Very critical you are doing that. Okay. And then finally, revenue streams. How do we make money? What products do we have that we can offer? At what price? How many products must somebody buy from me to break even? This is your revenue streams. In fact, one of the things I say here is when you start in consulting, always start with a product. And you can start with a product, but don't stay as a one product consultant. The more products you have, the more your revenue streams. In fact, you begin to leverage on the economies of scale when you have several products. You can offer benefits, you can offer reduced pricing, you can have better margins on other products. But if you have one product, you can't do that. Okay, so these 9 activities or processes must be carried out. Again, for me, starting with value proposition, then trying to determine my customers, then define the kind of relationship I want to have with my customers, what are the values I want to offer them. For me, in the School of Consultants, the kind of relationship I want to have with you is a lifelong relationship. Because you want to be a consultant, it's not a short dash. We're looking at being together, and that's why we're saying we're doing mentoring. Even after the mentoring and business setup, you can always call me. I'm not saying it's just for the 6 months. No, it's a long dash. So I have defined the kind of relationship I have with somebody that signs up on my program. 5 years, I've had people that I've been relating with for the past 5 years. We started the School of Consulting. And it's lifelong. As long as you're a consultant, I want to be a coach, I want to be a mentor to any consultant that comes to me. If you come to the School of Consultants, even better. School of Consulting, even better. So that's the relationship I have said I want. And then channels, how can they reach me? How can they sign up for the program? How can we deliver the program? How can we deliver our mentoring? How can we help with consulting business setup? If I'm in the city next to you, I'm near you, I can sit down with you physically. Those are my own decisions on channels. And then activities. What are the things I must do to deliver on my value proposition? Who are the people I need? What are the resources I need? This is would help you to define, is a framework to help you to define the kind of consulting business, how you want to structure your consulting business. It's a very, very useful tool. And then the cost structure. All of this, how much is going to cost us? How much is going to cost me? How much is my internet going to cost me every month? How much is my advertising? So you put all of that together to be able to now say, okay, how much are we going to be pricing our products. Like I said earlier, in our business model, School of Consulting, if we train 50 people a year, I'm excited. If I'm training people 50 people a year at a particular price, I'm okay. You understand? So don't do more. As a consultant, there's a lot of one-to-one business. So don't do more than you can offer, more than you can handle. Yeah, trying to train 50 people in a year is a lot. So I can't do more than that. You understand? Maybe in the future, when I start investing in other people, then we can do more through other people. Okay. So, and then you now know what your revenue stream is. How many products are you selling? At what price? How many should people buy so that your business would survive? That's your business canvas model. Okay. And like I said, for those who sign up for the mentoring and the business support, we would sit down with you to do this. So your business canvas models answers the why question. Why am I in this business? Why am I in consulting? The who question. Who am I trying to reach? And then what? What am I selling? Where am I selling it? How am I selling it? When am I selling it? So your business canvas helps you to answer these questions. On the back of that, excuse me. On the back of that, we develop what we call the brand positioning framework. We deliver this. You know, we talked about brand marketing in step 7, build your brand. Yeah. So develop your service, product, all of that. So number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, you can use your business canvas model to answer, to go through these 6 steps. When it comes to step 7, in building your brand, then this is a good framework. Again, leveraging a lot on how we use the business canvas model. It starts with you as a consultant. What can I offer? What is my motivation? What problems can I solve? And what can you do differently? What experiences do you have? Again, it's looking at you as a person. Based on, if you remember here, we said start with self, identify your expertise. Number 1 here. So who are you? What can you offer as a person? Number 2, excuse me. This solution or my expertise, who would need my expertise? Who would need my expertise? Who would buy from me? In fact, you're even asking, where are they? Asking further, how would they find you? What do they need? These are my customers. Before you start trying to sell to them, you take a pause and go to step 3. Now, this is what I can offer, number 1. This is who I can offer it to, number 2. Number 3, is there someone out there already offering what I am offering? This is your market and your market research. So you look at, this is my customer. They need ABC. Is there someone who is already trying to meet their need? Is there a provider? Is there a market? In this market, who are the market leaders? And the crucial question you're going to ask here is this. The crucial question you're going to ask here is this. You've identified what you can offer. You identify who will need your services. You identify perhaps those who are already in the market trying to provide this service to your target audience, to your market. This is how to determine what to offer. Are there needs my customer has that the present market or market leader or providers are not providing? Are there business needs? Are there weaknesses? Are there areas that are not being covered? What needs does my customer have that is not being met now? What needs? That is where your opportunity lies. That is where your opportunity lies. Many people make the mistake of not doing this in the first instance, and then coming into the market, and you're offering what the market already has. You are trying to compete in a saturated market. Many people will stick with existing providers rather than try a new provider. But many clients don't mind a new provider, provided this new provider is providing a solution that the existing market is not providing, or market leaders are not providing. I know there's a lot of tautology that are providing providers. So what you got to look at is there's an existing skill set you have, you know who might need it, but before you jump at trying to sell to them, find out. You may just find out that what you are just trying to sell to them, somebody's already providing that. But they might have other needs that you might be able to meet, not necessarily what the market leader is already providing. That is what is called the gap. And your value proposition is now built around that gap. Your proposition has value. Why? It solves a problem that no one else is solving. That is the value. So when we talk about value proposition, it's not just unique. Your value proposition is not necessarily what is unique to you. It's not necessarily what is unique to you, but the value is that you're offering is unique to who you are providing it to, in the sense that no one else is providing that value. Or you can provide that value better. That is your value proposition. Okay? How would your solution be different? What will be the benefits offered by your solution? And what will be unique about you? This is very, very critical. And this is when you can be heard above all the noise. This is how you can define your brand or your brand identity based on the uniqueness of what you're offering. And once you've identified that, then it's easy to position yourself in your market. I say this often. When I was going to start in consulting, yes, I could offer recruitment, and I wanted to do recruitment. That's what I wanted to do. In fact, we went as far as looking at the market, saw the gaps, and then we were offering recruitment services. Well, for 2 years, we identified our customers. 2-3 years, we were struggling to sell to these customers. Why? Because there were existing market leaders who were selling to the companies I was targeting. I was targeting the banks. I was targeting the oil and gas companies and trying to recruit for them. But then there were existing market leaders. And so companies were reluctant to ask us to recruit for them because they had existing providers. So when we looked at that market, we now saw that there are some skill sets that the existing providers were not able to fill, were not able to recruit for. And so again, I looked at what we could offer, and we focused on trying to fill we call it hard to fill vacancies, hard to fill roles. And we decided, you know what? If we can't find people locally, we'll find them from the diaspora. And so we segmented the recruitment market and created what we call international diaspora recruitment. It was still recruitment, but instead of trying to compete with the existing providers in the local market, we segmented and defined our market as focus on international and diaspora recruitment. So the value proposition that we offered clients was, for the hard to fill roles that you have, for difficult positions to have, we can recruit people from the diaspora. That was a value proposition. And so instead of competing with market leaders in trying to look for, trying to recruit locally, we focused on international recruitment, and that became the value proposition. And the doors open. Why? Because we had a solution that was solving a problem. And so the branding that followed was based on that. So our identity was, international recruiters. We were the major diaspora recruiter. As a matter of fact, within a year or so, we had CNN doing a coverage on our international recruitment. You know, simply because we segmented the market. And then we positioned ourselves in the market, and that position helped us in advertising. If you're looking for hard-to-fill roles, if you're looking for professionals that are hard to find locally, talk to us. We are the #1 diaspora recruiter in Africa. You know, that helped us. But that was a function of what we could offer and the gaps in the market. So it's about what you can offer and existing gaps in order to define your brand position. Okay, let's define your brand position. All right. Any question on that? Any question, please? Any question? Any questions on that? Any questions on that?